Queen's Gambit stars Anya Taylor-Joy, and it's a Netflix exclusive. So the plot of this miniseries is about Anya Taylor-Joy playing a character named Beth Harmon. She's put into an orphanage at a young age, and she runs into the janitor of the orphanage she's residing in, and soon becomes addicted to the quest to become the greatest chess player in the world. She becomes literally obsessed with being the best. So I saved this review last for you guys because it is literally the best thing in 2020. So I'm going to end my 2020 reviews with this one. And this is the best one to do it with, and I'm going to tell you why. So before I get into that though, some of you may not know what a miniseries is, and I'll explain what it is. It's basically just an episodic movie. So what does that mean? It basically means that there are 7 episodes just dragged out. So it's like a 7-hour movie. The Queen's Gambit is a miniseries. There's not going to be a second series from my findings, and I don't see why they'd make it. The show ended so perfectly, so there will not be another one. It's just a one and done season. Now, what did I like about the Queen's Gambit? Oh, holy crap. Well, first off, the acting is the best acting I saw all year long. It's got the richest, most professional cinematography in anything I've seen all year long. It has the best writing, the best screenplay, not the best score, but the music's really good. But it has the best atmosphere, costume design, settings, you name it. I cannot believe how good this show was. I wasn't sure if it was going to be good. I had zero interest in it at first because it was about chess, but I'm a really big Anya Taylor-Joy fan, so I was like, well, you're going to watch it eventually, so don't say you're not going to watch it, because you will. I hesitated a little bit at the start because it's about chess, and I've never been interested in chess. I don't know anything about chess, and wow, did I learn a lot about it watching this show. There are a bunch of crazy things about chess that I know, like reading the board correctly, knowing the numbers between king and queen, like your b8 and your b7 on square 1-5 and square 1-2x. That's how complex chess is. Now, if you're not big into chess and this is sounding boring to you, I can tell you should just watch the show for just everything else I mentioned previously, because this is a very rich, well done professional show. Everything about this show is pretty much gold. Because even the trailer just makes it seem like a chess show. Like, oh, there's a girl who's wanting to be the best chess player in the world. Because one of the first things I want to mention is how well the show lets you grow with this character. Beth Harmon, you literally grow up with her in just 7 hours. And one of the biggest things that I appreciated about it was how immature she was, because she wasn't given those social skills because she grew up in an orphanage. So one of the big things I liked is she's talking to the guy who's trying to teach her how to play chess, and then she calls him a cocksucker. And then later on, she's talking to another kid in the orphanage, and she asks him what a cocksucker is. And why I like that is because it just shows her innocence and immaturity as a young woman, not even understanding what she just said. They also show in the episode of her not being able to socialize by her eating by herself and watching other people socialize. And I thought that was really good because she's watching others socialize at lunch and she doesn't know how to interact like that. She's just in her own world. She hasn't been taught how to socialize. She hasn't been taught to interact or have conversation with other people. She feels very singled out from everyone else. And they really let you know that she doesn't know how to do this, because when she watches other people socialize, she's watching all kinds of things. They show her looking at the colors of people's shoes. She sees a couple making out. She's super interested in it, and you can tell she doesn't understand what it is yet. So there's a lot of like just little tiny things they have you experience with this character, so you feel like you're learning with her. And it was interesting to watch this character experience all that when I know how to socialize. So it was different for me. You know, I saw it through her eyes, like how much she struggles with it, and that's what kind of like really grabbed my attention to this. So as you progress through the show, one of the best parts of it, you realize she's very good at chess and she's going to grow up to be a champion. Like, they make that clear because there's a scene where a teacher asks her to play with a boy. And during that time, women weren't allowed to be in sports and they were kind of looked down upon on their intelligence. But this teacher saw something in her and he asked her if she would play against a boy in class, and she smoked this guy. He then asked her to go to another school and then play against like 8 people at the same time. So she's sitting here playing against 8 people. She goes up, makes her move, then goes to the next table. It just shows her level of intelligence at this young age, because she's switching tables all day long, playing against 8 people with no issue. So later on, she receives a doll from someone. I won't spoil what it is. She doesn't know what to say, so she kind of just says thank you. You're not really sure what she's thinking, like if she appreciates it because she hasn't been given a gift before. This was like the first gift she ever received. It shows her look at it and just throw it right in the trash. And it just showed that that's not who she is, and she's not that type of child. She's just got her head somewhere else. And then you start to grow up with her a little more, and not to spoil things, she becomes addicted to other things other than chess. And she sees this couple making out, and she's more interested in it than she was before. And she goes up to the girl and is kind of peeking, but she's too close. She doesn't realize how close she is. And then the girl actually catches her watching them make out. And this girl looks at her shoes and goes, "Ew, I want to be caught dead in Ben Snyder's shoes." Other parts that were really heartbreaking to watch, she gets a foster mom, and the foster mom just complains all the time how she's a financial burden. And then you feel bad for Beth because she can't really get out of her situation and she doesn't really have options. So they put you in a very uncomfortable scenario they don't let you get out of. So that's what's great about this show, is it's all growth. The show just let you go to the top with this character. As she gets older and the show progresses through each episode, she goes to a house party and she sees everyone socializing again, and you figured, you know, time has passed that she would be a little more engaged with it, and she's not. They show the other people socializing at this party, dancing, and they're singing and they're drinking, and they're all singing together though as a group, almost like they're at a concert, and she doesn't know how to involve herself in it, so she actually gets so uncomfortable she just leaves. And one of the very small details I appreciate about this show is Beth is playing against very good players. And she goes to this Vegas tournament, and she is kind of nervous because she hasn't been to a big tournament yet. She's only been like little small stuff at events and venues and schools. But this big Vegas one was a nice build-up for a couple episodes. And when she goes to it, they do such a good job on showing you how damn good she is at chess. They show you her playing out the game in her head. What moves she's going to make, how she's going to make them, and it just gives you such a strong sense of how incredibly smart she is at this game, strategizing a plan to kick this person's ass during this game. I can't ruin this because it's a spoiler, but she's addicted to something in the orphanage when she's very young, and she's still addicted to it, and she's addicted to this thing throughout the entire show. But this thing she's addicted to is green, and they show her wearing a green dress. They show green light fixtures in the background. There are filters of green randomly throughout the show, and it just showed you in her subconscious that she's still addicted to this item. That might be a detail that I picked up on, maybe you didn't pick up on it, but if you know what I'm talking about, pay attention to the show. If you ever watch it again, you will see green light bulbs, she'll be wearing the green dress, and you'll see green filtering. This show throws a lot at you. So she meets some friends through the chess world. She starts to socialize a little bit, but she's still kind of antisocial and a little awkward. They begin to try to explain to her that, you know, chess isn't everything. There are more things in life than just playing the game of chess. And she says, well, it's all I know. That's all I know in life. What else do you want from me? And then, of course, you would expect it, but through the episodes, there's more and more chess, and there's more challenges and more she learns. As the show progresses, you just kind of see her get smarter and better and better and better. But they take it to a point where she's so good you don't really know where she's going to go. And then they throw in the Russian in your face, and the Russian is the big guy that she's going to have to face off against. But the problem with the show by this point is she's kind of just falling apart. I won't ruin what it is or what she's doing, but she's just falling apart in a way where you don't know if she'll return because she's ruining her reputation and she's going to lose everything unless she cleans up her act. The show is so smart at making you have all this anxiety and be like, well, fuck, clean yourself up. You're going to ruin your life. Don't do this now. What are you doing? Oh man, it's like they're just building a block and it's getting better and better. Each episode got better and better in my opinion. And they just literally put you in a stressful situation and you know what's on the line. And she just keeps following and following on what she's doing. Ah, God. It was great. So I give it praise because they end an episode with the biggest, hugest climax. And I won't say what episode it is, but you literally are in shock. Like, what? Why did you do that? And you knew that was coming before it happened? So why did you do it? And they did a very good job. The screenplay was so well written, and the way they sat here and built around this situation just to throw that in your face at the end was one of the best things I've seen in a TV show. So the show lets you feel and fully understand that she's not aware of a lot of things. She has a lot of social tics she doesn't pick up on, and she has a very low understanding of how important things can be. And they actually have a tournament in the end of the show where they let her know, hey, you know, we're going to invite you to the White House, you're going to have dinner with the president, we're going to have this press tour, and you're going to make all this money. And after she's having this meeting, she just smokes a cigarette and doesn't care at all. The way they set up this scene and the way they wrote it, the dialogue and the conversation, it's kind of like, well, dude, this is it's like the Super Bowl here. Like, this is going to make you famous, you're going to be rich now. And they don't just make it like, oh, she doesn't care because she's all snobby and confident now. It's more of a way where she doesn't care because she just doesn't have those social cues. As a viewer, you're just kind of like, oh, what the hell are you doing? Why do you have this attitude? Do you not comprehend what's in front of you here? And just like, they do a great job of just dragging you into her world. So, no spoilers, but the show has its grand finale, and she's headed off to the airport to go home. And when she's headed home, they're talking to her about the game, and she says, stop the car, I want to walk. And he's like, you won't make it to the airport in time. We got to get on the plane. You'll miss your flight. And she's like, I don't care. And then they stop the car. She gets out. She goes for a walk in a park, and she's kind of looking at the scenery and looking at the trees and looking at paintings in the city. And she's starting to appreciate other things. And she goes up to an area where all these people are playing chess. What's great about this is why cinema is so good, and this is what I appreciate about shows so much, is sometimes it can send a really good message. And she goes up to this group of these really poor people that are not good at chess at all. And she goes down, and the guy's like, would you like to play a game? And she says, yes, I would. And she sits down, and she just smiles. And it just shows you that it's not about the money to her. It's not about winning tournaments. She just straight up loves the game of chess. It doesn't matter to her. The way this ending was written in the screenplay and the way they proceeded with ending this character's story is just master cinema. This has been one of the richest scripts I've seen all year. It has been one of the best shows I've seen all year, with performance, set location, clothing, everything. It ends almost perfectly. It's like a Breaking Bad ending of the TV series. It was just perfectly set up, perfectly written, perfectly fleshed out. That's like the best message you could send to a viewer watching cinema. This is literally what masterminds of cinema create. It's just about telling stories that are astonishing and perfect. And this, my friends, is why I love film. And this is why I love scripts and directing and writing. Because when you can make a show this rich and this good, it's literally the core reason why I love filmmaking. This show's amazing on so many levels. I just can't explain it. I want you to see it for yourself. I want you to see it with your own eyes, hear it with your own ears, and experience it yourself. How am I going to grade this? Well, I'll tell you this much. This is the first time and the only time I've given out this grade in the entire year of 2020. I'm going to grade The Queen's Gambit a well-deserved A. Out. I didn't give anything else an A this year, so that should really tell you something. It deserved it. You will see for yourself why it deserves it if you check it out. I appreciate you guys watching the review. So if you're interested, again, The Queen's Gambit is available right now on Netflix, and it is well worthy of your time. I highly recommend it. Well, guys, I wanted to end my 2020 reviews on a high note. I've been saving this one, and it was well deserved to be the finale. That is my last review of 2020. I'm looking forward to bringing you guys new movies that are on the horizon coming out in 2021, and I'm going to catch you movie fans on those future reviews.